Ho ho, everybody. Welcome back to another holiday episode of a very special podcast. This is the podcast which talk about all your favorite TV series from yesteryear and discuss them over a glass of holiday cheer. I'm your friend, Patrick M. Dunn, and I'm joined here, as always, by my Christmas queen, Kat Halstead, the author. Welcome back, girl. Welcome back.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be back. It's been a little while since we recorded. Sort of.
That is true. That is true. I was going to call you the pole wizard, but I was like, you know what? People might think it's like a stripper pole. So. Not like a gallop pole. Is that what you do? You're a gallop pole taker?
Yeah.
Quizmaster?
Sort of.
Survey?
It's not for gallop pole, but yeah.
The sultan of surveys? I don't know.
I believe we established it was a chipmunk polls in a previous episode.
Oh, chipmunk research?
Yeah.
Well, that's like Alvin doing it, not you.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're Alvin. This is something I don't know.
Maybe I am.
Yeah, maybe you're the voice of Alvin. We just speed it up. Give us a hot sentence and I'll speed it up for the audio.
Oh, never mind.
All right, we'll cut that part out. All right, so normally we right after Thanksgiving we kind of do like a palate cleanser episode. We're just gonna pick like a rando I Love Lucy episode, but Kat over here was like, let's just do a Christmas one, and I was like, do they have a Christmas one? Because I've never seen it.
Well,
I've never seen it in the hundreds of episodes of syndicated reruns.
There's a reason you've never seen it in the syndicated reruns.
That is true. That is true. Because we're doing today I Love Lucy, Season 6, Episode 11, Christmas Show. I think it's just called Christmas Show, right?
Yeah, it's the Christmas show.
You may know this episode if you watch like CBS on like Friday nights in December.
Like, it might be paired with Vitamita Vegemin or Lucy trying to get into the movies or something like that.
Tell us the hot story of the Lucy Christmas Show. This is like a torrid tale.
This is considered the lost episode of I Love Lucy. Was an episode that it's the first episode of television to use the flashback narrative and remember stuff, that nostalgic twist that, clip show that we get all the time. Like, every sitcom does this.
Not even sitcom, fucking Big Brother does it. They gather around the table and go, remember Janelle? I do shit like that.
You know what? I haven't even finished watching All Stars.
You don't need to. You're not missing anything.
I know what happened. I was just like, yeah, no.
All right. So, before that, way before Big Brother did the clip show flashback narrative, CBS, well, not necessarily CBS, Desilu, they kept getting, like, letters from fans or something, and they wanted to see older clips, because I guess when Lucy, I Love Lucy first came out, it was, like, the early 50s. Not that many people had television.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I Love Lucy started in 1951.
Yeah, and television in a home was a rare thing, and it was, like, the mid-50s, late 50s when it really became a thing. Mm-hmm. So people that were new to the show, they wanted to see clips from older episodes, and even like longtime fans were like, yeah, you know what? I love the years that Lucy was pregnant.
Yeah.
That she was about to give birth to little Ricky. I'd love to see like clips from that. And Christmas time just seemed like the perfect opportunity to do that. It just seemed like a hot time to introduce this concept. So, ooga.
So, yeah, they used, because if you think about it, like, Christmas time is when you kind of gather with your friends or family in normal circumstances, and you kind of, like, think about, oh, remember when.
It's just a fun time, like a fun time to get together with your family or your neighbors from, like, 2 doors down.
Yeah. And
just reminisce, trim the tree, do all that kind of stuff. And so we get the Christmas show. It was written by our boy, Bob Carroll Jr., who, along with longtime writing partner Malin Pugh, they wrote a large number of episodes of not only I Love Lucy, but also Here's Lucy, The Lucy Show, and Life with Lucy, and some of the various television specials like Lucy Calls the President. Have you ever seen that one?
No.
I think it's on Amazon, or it was a year ago I watched it. It's like from 76, 77-ish. It must have been right when Jimmy Carter first became president. Lucy, gets a phone call with him, and he's, gonna come to the house, and it's just this wild, string of Lucy-like events. It's actually kind of fun. It's kind of funny, because it's, you can tell it's the beginning of Jimmy Carter's presidency. It's not like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like halfway through or a little bit later where things weren't so hot for him anymore.
Okay.
It was a trying time for America, but Lucy pulled us out of it. Oh, thank God. Thank God for Lucy. I was kind of looking through this writing crew's like non-Lucy stuff. So they wrote episodes of Alice,
Okay.
and Sanford and Son, The Mothers-in-Law, which was a show that starred Eve Arden, who you may know as Principal McGee in Grease 2 and the far less superior Grease 1.
Okay.
You may know her. So that's them. Because I always see that name whenever you're watching like the end credits. It's always like Bob Carroll Jr. and Madeline Pugh, like rolling by your face. And I don't know, like, you know what? I need to know more about these guys.
Okay.
Fun times. So back in 1956, they had an idea. They had a hot idea. But before we get there, you want to go back in time? You want to go back to a time when things were kind of innocent?
Yeah, I would love to go back to an innocent time.
Yes. All right. You know what? Insert the like little sound effect flashback in time noise right there, because we're going to go all the way back.
You mean the one from like Saved by the Bell before the screen gets the fuzzy pink border?
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like the little chimes, little bell chimes. But maybe like we'll jingle bell it up. Because tonight's episode aired December 24th, 1956. Christmas Eve. What?
Okay.
It happened on a Monday. And I gotta say, this is a wild night of television. Like, I found a lot of data for a 1956 night, which is kind of hard to find, but not tonight.
Really? Okay.
I can find everything that was on tonight. So you ready? You ready for probably the hottest night of television ever?
That is shocking. So hit me with it.
All right. So tonight things kick off. You want to start with ABC? You want to start with the boys at the alphabet?
Okay.
All right. We're going to start off with ABC 8 o'clock. Tonight, it's The Denny Thomas Show, starring Denny Thomas. Ooga. Fun little show. It's a sitcom that ran for 11 seasons total on both ABC and CBS.
Yeah.
From 1953 to 1964. But hot scoop, in its first few seasons, you may know it as Make Room for Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And then they rebranded it, because the original premise... All right, I looked this up. This is wild. This is fucking wild. And I actually have recently watched episodes of the later seasons, because they're on Amazon Prime, and I don't know. It's not this original premise, I'll tell you that. So the OG premise was about a successful comedian and nightclub entertainer at the Copa Club, a fictionalized take on the infamous Copacabana, and the show dealt with some wild themes for television at the time, but maybe not so much in real life. Like Danny never being around, he was never at home. He always left his wife, Margaret, played by actress Jean Hagen, having to deal with all the home life shenanigans virtually on her own.
Yeah.
Shortly after the third season wrapped, our girl Jean Hagen, she's like, I fucking hate this show. So she left the show due to a constant clashing with Danny Thomas. They just wrote the character off at first. Like, they didn't really explain why when they came back in the next season. And then, like, a couple episodes later, they just casually mentioned that she died.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, oh, she dead. She dead. So... I don't remember that. Do you remember that?
No. Like, I do remember a Make Room for Daddy, the Danny Thomas Show, ever being on Nick at Night, but I don't feel like I ever watched it.
I definitely dabbled in it. I kind of remember it just being...
Like, maybe an episode here and there, but it wasn't, like, Bewitched or SNL or... You know what I mean? It wasn't something that I remember watching consistently. Like, maybe... It was just the time it was on. It conflicted with something else. I don't know.
I felt like it was on later on in the night. Mm-hmm. It was maybe on like after my bedtime, and I definitely had seen apps here and there. It never, like, as a child, as like a 5-6-year-old, it never like pulled me in as much as some of the other shows did.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched episodes on Amazon Prime, and I kind of enjoy it. It's definitely a little cringy at times, but hot scoop. So at one point, ABC they canceled the series, and they kind of had like a cliffhanger. So there was like a string of episodes where one of Danny's youngest sons had the measles, and he hires a nurse to take care of him. And then eventually Danny falls in love with the nurse, and they become engaged. And like that's like the end of the season. Mm-hmm. CBS, they were wrapping up with I Love Lucy before it became like the comedy hour. So they wanted to film the spot. So they brought in the Danny Thomas Show. Did a second life of that show. That show pretty much just was on for like another number of years. I don't know. It became a little more like, I want to say special guest stars and stuff, because I definitely remember seeing episodes with like Dinah Shore on it or something.
Yeah.
So that's the Danny Thomas show. I don't know.
Listen, if he's not turning people into walnut-eating aliens, what's the point?
That is true, because as we know, Danny Thomas has a tie-in with the Dick Van Dyke Show. Not just the Walnut episode. Maury Amsterdam's iconic character Buddy shows up in an episode of the Danny Thomas Show as his character.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the show even has like a weird tie-in with Mayberry too. Before the Andy Griffith Show was even a show, Danny goes to Mayberry and he becomes detained by Andy Taylor in an episode.
So,
and then
the Andy Griffith Show is a spin-off of the Danny Thomas Show?
Somewhat. I don't think they actually like flat out call it a spin-off, but I think it's just a related show. I think they're all like Sheldon Leonard type shows, so.
Okay. Probably.
That's the kind of the universe they live in. I don't know. That's all I got on the Danny Thomas Show until we actually do the Danny Thomas Show in like a few months.
Few years.
I'll find a hot episode for you. A good one to pull you in.
I mean, okay, can I just ask, why is it always the wives that get killed off?
I mean, the actress left the show.
How come the husbands are never the ones to leave the show?
I mean, he's the star of it. And
Valerie Harper was the star of Valerie, and she's the one who left the show. Josh Taylor was still there.
I mean, she didn't want to be on the show. We'll have to wait till we do our Hogan's Family episode, but she left the show, you know.
When we do Jason Bateman month, because we are doing Jason Bateman.
Oh, yeah.
I have a hot Jason Bateman stuff.
I can't wait to see the Jason Bateman month. I don't know.
I went down a rabbit hole when we did George and Leo.
I can't explain why they didn't kill off Danny Thomas and made it like the Gene Hagen show. I don't know. I mean,
I just think it's weird. Like, even now, they're like, if they're gonna like decide a character is expendable, it's the wife, just like they did with Kevin Can Wait.
Yeah,
they just cut Aaron Hayes out to bring Leah Remini in.
I know, we're still bitter about that. We're still bitter about Aaron Hayes.
I see Aaron Hayes and stuff, like even stuff from like 10 years ago, and I'm just like, you poor woman.
Justice for Aaron Hayes. I mean, like they could have just said she went to school or something. I don't know, like in another city. And I don't know, like she occasionally writes,
or she joined like a human rights medical team because her character was a nurse or something.
She's like, fuck it. Kevin can wait up all night for me because I'm out of here. Mm-hmm. But you know, it was nice to see him reunite with Leah Remini. Not gonna lie. But obviously, we're not talking about season 4 of Kevin Can Wait because now it's gone. All right, you ready for ABC 9:30? We have a little gap in the schedule, but we got ABC 9:30.
Yeah.
All right, this is wild. A special presentation of the Lawrence Welk Show. Lawrence Welk presents top tunes and new talent. Ooga. This was a Christmas special featuring musical selections that celebrate the season, but it was an extension of the Lawrence Welk Show, which was a show that began in 1951 as a local LA-based series, then became nationally broadcasted on ABC starting in 1955, and then in the 70s shifted over to syndication, where it remained on the air until 1982, and this was a show with, like, big band musical performances, doing standards and dancing and variety-type stuff. And, I don't know, Lawrence Welk always, like, dancing with the female audience members. I always remember that.
Yeah, you can still find it on, like, PBS on, like, a Saturday afternoon or something.
Oh, yeah. It's on, like, late, like, middle of the night, too. But hot scoop. So, I always remember this being, like, rebroadcasted on PBS during my childhood. Especially the later years, and I always thought it was like a current series. Like I always thought, like,
oh my god,
this was on the air right now, because it wasn't the black and white ones; it was always the colorized episodes. I don't know. I thought this guy was still like kicking things up in like 1991. I was like, yeah, Lawrence Welk, you go, girl. You go, girl.
Patrick, I love you. I love you so much.
I used to just strangely watch this on PBS all the time. I never loved it, but it was just on, and there's, like, some episodes of it. Maybe there's, like, a year or two of it on Amazon Prime. And I think I watched, like, 4 episodes, like, maybe last summer. Like, I might have secretly enjoyed it also.
That is
I love it.
Amazing.
Such a great time. Such a great time to be alive. Like, I wish I could have been, like, an audience member at the Lawrence Welk Show. Like, that's still a dream of mine. Like, if I ever find a time machine, I'm going back to, like, 1955 LA, and I'm just going to go to an episode taping of the Lawrence Welk Show. And then maybe the Danny Thomas Show after. Who knows?
Oh, my gosh.
All right. You ready to hop over to the Tiffany Network? The Tiffany Network's got, like, bangers all night long.
Yeah, give me CBS.
CBS has kicks off at 8 o'clock with the George Burns and Gracie Allen Show, which sometimes is just called the Burns and Allen Show. Depends on, I guess, the era or syndication. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
This is a show that was originally broadcasted from 1950 to 1958. It featured two of vaudeville's hottest stars, an actual couple, Hot Scoop. They actually designed the sets on the show to look like their real-life home in Beverly Hills, where George Burns lived until his death in 1996. Like, he didn't move out of this house. He, like, stayed there.
Oh, wow.
And
I mean, if you got a nice house in Beverly Hills, do you really want to leave it?
yeah, and it looks like your TV show, too. So, you know, guests come over. They know their way around, right? A hot running gag on the series involved a closet full of hats belonging to various visitors to the Burns household. They would always slip out the door unnoticed and leave their hats behind rather than like have to talk to Gracie again, because I guess she was kind of like annoying to talk to at times. I think that was like a running gag. The show would constantly break the fourth wall with characters addressing the television audience. And in later seasons, this is wild. George Burns would watch other characters he was not in scenes with through a magic television, basically like closed caption television, just for him to find a way to interact with other characters. And then special shout out to Gracie Allen, prop master. She would recite most of her dialogue while doing other tasks, such as like preparing a meal or rolling a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
It bothered her that most productions would brush over a task, such as like having an actor write a note, and you just see them like write one line up, scribble something real quick, and then that was it. And that bothered her.
Yeah, okay. I see it.
Yeah, so she's like, if I'm going to write a note on a show, I'm actually going to write a note, but I'll talk while I'm doing it. So make it part of the scene, so.
Yeah.
Ooga.
Multitask like a normal human being.
Yeah, I think she kind of gets that maybe from her vaudeville days. Like maybe they kind of were more proppy on stage.
Maybe.
All right, you ready? You ready for CBS 830? This is a wild half hour of television.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts?
No, not at all.
This is like America's Got Talent at the time. This was a variety series that started on radio in the 40s and then eventually made its way to television. It was on the air till like 1958. And they had judges, and the judges would rate a performance. However, there's some notable names that came through this show. You ready? You ready for some hot contestants?
Yeah.
All right. Pat Boone.
Okay.
Tony Bennett. Rosemary Clooney.
Okay.
Lenny Bruce. And the show is even known for introducing most of America to Patsy Cline, who gained attention when she first sang Walkin' After Midnight on a 1957 episode.
Okay.
And hot scoop, Elvis Presley once auditioned for the show, but he was not selected to perform. Ooga.
Shocking.
Wild times, huh? Wild times.
The king.
Coming in at 9 o'clock, we got I Love Lucy. We'll get to you in a minute, girl. Sit tight. But I'm ready for CBS 930. This is wild. I've never heard of this show, but I want to know more about it.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of a show called December Bride?
No, there's like a Hallmark movie called that.
This has nothing to do with the Hallmark movie. Nothing at all.
I mean, I'm sure it doesn't, but that's the only thing I know of called December Bride.
All right, this was a sitcom starring actress Spring Blyington. She was an older woman, recently widowed on the show. And she was not only aiding her daughter to find a suitor for her daughter, but also potentially back on the streets looking for love if the right man came along for remarriage. So it's that kind of show, I guess. The series ran for 5 seasons from 1954 through 1959, and it suffered a major ratings dip when I Love Lucy ended during its 4th season, and then they moved it to Thursday nights. And I guess I don't know, no one really followed the show. I think this is like the first like major like moving in of a show, like a hot top 10 show.
Okay.
Notable guest stars on December Bride include Desi Arnaz has been in episodes, playing himself. Friend of the show, Zsa Zsa Gabor. Yeah, shout out to her. And Madge Blake, who you may know as Aunt Harriet from the Batman show. And
okay. December
Bride even got a 1960s spin-off when they based a show around the neighbors of the main characters. It was a show called Pete and Gladys, but it was only on the air for like 2 seasons, and it never managed to crack like the top 30. It was a dud.
Yeah.
Dud on arrival.
I've never heard of it, so.
I don't know. Sounds excited. I'd probably watch it. If I found an episode or 2, I'd probably check it out. Not gonna lie. NGL. How about you?
I mean, I don't know. Kind of depends. I'm weird, though. I will just, like, randomly watch stuff, like, that's on Netflix or Hulu or...
Whatevs.
Peacock or whatever app it is. Like, my God, I finally broke down and did the Apple TV subscription since we can get it on the smart TV now, and
Been watching Ted Lasso.
I started going through the stuff I have purchased that I haven't watched in a while because I don't feel like pulling up iTunes on my laptop.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, ooh, I'm gonna sit here and rewatch The Class again.
There you go. Cat's like top 5 favorite series. A show I've never seen, I don't think. Maybe. I can't tell you.
Did we do an episode?
For this show? No. We've never.
Yeah.
No.
Are you sure?
I am fucking 100% positive. We've never done The Class. You looking it up?
Yeah, I'm going to look it up. If we have it, we need to.
All right, well, add it to the list. We'll do it during, canceled too soon month, right after Jason Bateman month.
Oh my god.
You got a few more to go. You think you can get through it? You think we can? There's a few more.
Yeah, let's get through it.
All right, I'm excited for CBS 10 o'clock. Are you familiar with a show called Studio One?
No.
We've talked about this. This was an anthology drama series that began on radio in 1947. It moved to television in 1948, and it aired under various titles through 1958. Some notable performances on the series included televised dramatic performances of George Orwell's 1984, 12 Angry Men, and a television production of War of the Worlds. However, that's not why we know it. One episode of Boston Legal included flashbacks of an older Denny Crane case, and they used old clips from a William Shatner episode of Studio One in which he played an attorney who was conducting the case with his father. So I'm pretty sure we brought it up in the Boston Legal episode we did. Yeah. Do you know that episode of Boston Legal?
No.
What? How do you... we talked about this. I know for a fact. There's an episode where Denny Crane does a case with his... I don't know if he does it with his dad or he reminds him of a case with his dad. And they just flash back to an old fucking CBS show from the 50s.
Oh, okay.
It's great. As the case. I think it's a multi-part episode. I think it's a series of episodes, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I've never seen this episode. I'm gonna go track it down on Amazon Prime when we're done.
It's so fucking clever. Such a clever idea. All right.
You know what? With the boyfriend out of town, maybe I could do a rewatch and not get shit on for it.
No.
Because the boyfriend doesn't like Spader, and I'm just Spader is an acting god. You need to get away from me right now.
How can you not like James Spader? Did he steal his bike when he was a child or something?
I don't know. And I'm just because I just got caught up on the blacklist before it returns, and I would just sit here in awe of James Spader and his performances. And my boyfriend's like, eh. I'm like, go away. Go away.
I don't know. He must be an Andrew McCarthy fan or something. I don't know. All right.
Maybe.
You ready? Do you want to go to the Peacock? You want to see what the Peacock had to offer us?
Yeah, let's go to the Peacock.
All right. This one's wild. NBC at 8 o'clock. The Adventures of Sir Lancelot. You know the name, right?
What in King Arthur's court is this?
All right. I mean, the show doesn't sound exciting, but the background behind the series does. So this was actually a British television series about one of King Arthur's knights. It premiered in 1956, and episodes would air on NBC a few days later.
Mm-hmm.
Hot scoop, this was also the first British series to be filmed in color. And I also have a second hot scoop. You ready? Are you sitting down for this second hot scoop?
I don't know if I can be prepared for this second hot scoop.
So, a number of the screenwriters involved in The Adventures of Sir Lancelot were American writers who moved to Britain after being placed on the Hollywood blacklist during the early years of the Cold War.
Oh, okay.
This was an age when a number of actors, screenwriters, directors, and musicians were alleged to have communist ties or be sympathizers. One of the writers on the show included a gentleman by the name of Ring Lardner Jr., who was actually part of the original Hollywood 10 when he became known as a friendly associate. After the blacklisting, he wrote a novel, and then beginning in 1955, along with some other fellow blacklistees, began writing episodes of The Adventures of Sir Lancelot under pseudonyms.
Okay.
Ooga. So, I don't know. Quite brave of NBC to air the show, huh?
For real? Whoa.
All right.
Was not expecting that.
No, I wasn't either. I just kind of stumbled on it by accident. I was like, oh, we got to include this. We got to definitely include this. I'm excited for NBC 8:30. I don't know, this excites me. I've never heard of the show. It sounds kind of fun. Stanley. Do you know a show called Stanley?
No.
This was a short-lived series. It starred Buddy Hackett, Carol Burnett, and the voice of Paul Lynde as an unseen character. The series revolved around Stanley, played by Buddy Hackett, who is a newsstand operator at a posh New York City hotel. Fun facts, this is only a one-season show, but the entire series is known to survive because it was filmed on Kinescope, which they often taped live performances by like filming a television monitor. So,
Yeah.
ooga. So the show like still exists. I don't think you can get it anywhere, but it's there.
Someone has it somewhere.
Yeah, it's like in a vault. It's in the Peacock vault right now. Come on, Peacock, air it. All right, you ready for NBC 9 o'clock?
Just toss it up for streaming, Peacock. Come on. Give us some more stuff.
All right, you ready for NBC 9 o'clock? You ready for a hot night at the 9 o'clock half hour?
Yeah, what's going on?
A game show called Can Do. And I couldn't find much information about it. The only thing I could find was that Robert Alda was the host of the show, who is Alan Alda's father.
Okay.
I don't know. That's all I can really find out about the show. I just thought Robert Alda being on the show was kind of fun. And I actually looked up a picture of Robert Alda to see what he looked like. And he kind of looks like Alan Alda. So I was like, ooh, I like it. I stand.
I mean,
I don't know. But the biggest fun fact I could find about Robert Alda was that he was on the show Super Train. Do you know the show Super Train?
no.
This was a 1979 series about a nuclear-powered train that is equipped with more amenities than a cruise ship. And this is supposed to be like The Love Boat, but on a train.
Okay.
And it was only on for like 14 episodes in 1979. They spent a lot of money on this show too, like tons of money, and it didn't pan well. But I got one more show. Got one more thing to bring up.
Okay.
All right, you ready for Robert Montgomery Presents?
What?
This was a popular series in the 1950s, which ran from 1950 to 1957. It focused on hour-long adapted dramas based on Hollywood films.
Okay.
The series was known for its high production values for being a television show, and its most notable episode is one that is centered around the Hindenburg disaster. Ooga.
What?
Yes, I guess that's like the big episode. I think you can find clips from it. I don't know.
Okay.
I think they probably use like newsreel clips mostly. I seem to remember that from like the Waltons episode of the Hindenburg that focused on the Hindenburg. They just showed like old newsreels.
You know, we don't talk about the Hindenburg very often anymore.
No, it kind of like went away. I feel like we need like a hot, I don't know, Titanic-like movie based on it.
Like, where's my Hindenburg movie? Or, like, anything like that. I feel like it was mentioned in, like, a Sweet Valley High book.
Really?
Like, in one of the, like, legacy books about the the family tree ones we talked about.
Oh, like like a family member was like
But,
like there that day or on the ship or something?
yeah. Or something similar.
I totally did a book report on the Hindenburg in like 7th or 8th grade, and I just knew like so much about it at the time. I could tell you not as much information right now. I just remember that it had something to do, like the hydrogen theory was one of the theories, and then they thought it had something to do with like the material the ship was made out of. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever found out fully what caused the Hindenburg to go down. But what was it, like half of the passengers perished, and like people actually like were able to jump off it and flee. So
Like, there were 35 fatalities, 13 were passengers, 22 were crewmen.
okay.
And there were 97 people on board total.
Ooh, okay. So good odds, I guess. Good odds. Better than the Titanic.
I don't know. They might be similar, like, statistically what? Statistically.
Word corner. Word corner. All right, well, maybe Kat and I will go back to the drawing board. Maybe we'll find like an old Hindenburg TV movie from like the 80s or something that we'll dip into. Maybe we'll find the Sweet Valley High book that mentions it. Who knows? So, I don't know. We'll park and lot it. We'll write it on the, add it to the list, the Hindenburg, Jason Bateman month, and there was some other theme. Oh, canceled quickly month. Canceled quickly month. All right. On a scale out of 1 out of 5 December brides, how many December brides will you give this night of television? Are we going to get a rare Cat 5? Are we going to get a middle run? Or is Cat just going to give it a fucking goose egg?
I mean, it sounds like a 3.
Really?
It doesn't sound like really anything that's special.
I don't know. I mean, we got Lawrence Welk, a Christmas episode of Lawrence Welk, a Christmas episode of fucking I Love Lucy. We get December Bride. We get Studio One. Oh, there's so much stuff going on.
I mean, I just don't think it's that different from any other night in television that, like, any other Monday night. You know what I mean?
Pretty much everything aired new episodes tonight. So we're getting, like, new episodes on Christmas Eve. Like, Christmas Eve, we're getting new episodes of television.
That, like, never happens anymore.
Yeah, so you're giving this a 3? I'm giving this, like, a 4. I'm giving this 4 December Brides.
Okay.
You know what? They were good. They were good at their job.
I just don't think there's anything. There's not, like, a lot. Like, okay, for me to give you, like, a high score, you gotta do something impressive.
Like what?
I mean, you gotta be giving me a freaking live performance of A Christmas Carol or some shit.
When has that ever happened?
It hasn't, but I want it to happen. I want a Scrooged Christmas Carol type situation on Christmas Eve, okay?
I have an idea. I have a hot idea. For a bonus episode, for a Patreon episode, we'll do a Cat 5 night, and you just, like, create the perfect schedule.
The perfect night?
Yeah, just use, like, all the networks. You can use cable. You can use anything. Like, I don't care. Add it to the list. We'll do it in, like, January. We'll do it in the doldrums, the January doldrums. We'll do Cat's Wild Night of Television, and she gets to pick it whatever she wants. You could have Hallmark movies on. You could have, like, a special with... You can make stuff up. It could be, like, Dream Man Presents. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, you can just make shit up. I don't know, like, the cast of E.T. is, like, sitting around a couch talking about what it was like to work on E.T. Like, who knows? Could be, like, a Diane Sawyer interview with Michael Jackson. Who knows?
Okay, right there, I thought we went over this. I hate E.T. Why would I have the cast of E.T. reunite?
I don't know, maybe, you know what? Maybe Drew Barrymore is, like, cunty about it. She's got some, like, hot goss on the cast.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. I mean, I knew you hated Free Willy. I didn't know you hated E.T. Like, what has E.T. ever done to you?
I just don't enjoy E.T. Like, it does nothing for me. I'm like, ugh.
You know what?
This guy, really? I'm out. Peace.
I think I know the genre that you hate. You hate, like, little kids saving creatures. That's, like, your thing.
Oh my god, this makes me sound like an awful human being.
Probably, like, when you were watching it when you were little, you were, like, secretly hoping the government would catch E.T. You're like, come on, fucking tase him. Fucking cut him open or something. Just like you wish that fucking Free Willy crushed Jason James Richter.
Listen, if the whale had just fell, we wouldn't have had to deal with Free Willy 2 or Free Willy 3. And the whale would have been free still, because they're not going to put that killing whale in captivity again.
Yeah, it could have even spared us from Free Willy the Animated Series, which I'm pretty sure is a show. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a cartoon.
What?
I'm pretty sure. Let me look it up.
No,
Hold on.
no, that cannot be. That cannot be.
Free Willy, the Animated Series. It was on from the 2 seasons from 1994 to 1995.
Why? Why? Why was everybody so obsessed with this fucking whale?
It was a heartwarming story, Cat Hall said the author. The whale hater.
Oh my god, even the logo for the cartoon series is stupid whale jumping over the kid.
Because it was a fucking momentous moment in time, Cat Hall said the author.
God.
I remember being on the edge of my seat, like being like, is he gonna make it? Is he gonna make it? And I think I threw my hand up in the air when he made it over that little, like, jetty thing that he, like, flew over.
Oh my god.
Let's make a list of, like, all the, like, animal movies that, or, like, creature movies that Cat hates, because I bet you there's a lot more. I bet you hate Air Bud, the Golden Retriever. You probably hate Beethoven.
I don't think I've actually seen Air Bud.
I don't think I have either, to be honest with you. I know of it. You probably hate fucking,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, Benji, like Homeward Bound.
Okay, I've never actually watched Homeward Bound.
You've never seen Homeward Bound?
No.
Or Homeward Bound 2, like The Adventure Continues?
Never.
This weekend, we're gonna do, like, Animal House at Cat's, like, playlist. I'm gonna create a playlist for her. Get ready. Let's go, girls. All right. That's all I got that night of television. I'm just so disappointed. So disappointed in Kat's responses. Because I was, like, so excited of this list. I just wanted to, like, recreate this night.
When you messaged me, I even said, no, it's not.
You did. But you say that about everything. So.
Like, I could tell you exactly what I said. I was like, dude, come on. You say this all the time.
When we're done recording, I'm going to have Kat Halstead read a list of her perfect night. And then we're going to do a special Patreon episode. So get ready. We're not here to talk about that tonight. Tonight, We're going back in time to Christmas Eve, 1956,
Yes.
where Santa Claus came to visit the Ricardos. Take us into this world of a colored episode. Yes, we found a colored episode.
Okay, it got colorized in like 1990.
Yes.
Okay, because it was re-aired in 1989 as a special on CBS, and then it got re-aired again in 1989, and at that time they colorized the wraparounds, which are the scenes before the flashback stuff, which they left in black and white, which was driving Patrick crazy when he first tried to watch it on archive.org, where we found it.
I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was having like vision problems. So, yeah.
He's like, why is part of it colorized? And the other parts, like you were pissed it was colorized too.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, this episode was not included in the syndication package due to it being Christmas themed. They didn't think that holiday themed episodes would fare well in the ensuing years, and because of the flashback nature as well. So
yeah,
basically this episode aired once, and then not again until December 1989, a few months after Lucille Ball's death. They rebroadcast it. And then, as you said, they made the colorized version. So I have a question for you. I have a hot-ass question for you.
Yeah.
The episode that we watched on archive.org, is this like the first 1990 colorized version of it? Because didn't they redo it again? Did they like recolorize it?
They might. I honestly don't know. I could not, I don't know how to tell.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Because I was like reading an article, might have been on CBS.com, about how the technology in like 2013 for colorizing old episodes was better than it was in the 1990s. So this is why you should watch this episode, I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
But I want to throw this out there. Like, I wasn't impressed by the color job. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it.
Okay, whenever like something's colorized, I'm just like, okay, like, because they had to guess at the colors.
Yeah. I mean, I did read the CBS.com article, like, talked about how, like, they had like a hot team that like researched the time. They actually like went back and like found like the wardrobe and stuff, and they like looked at old pictures of the sets.
Yeah.
So they like were, I guess, committed to recolorizing this. But I mean, I don't know if they did for like the one that we watched. Maybe like some of the other ones, like Lucy Goes to the Movies or whatever the fuck that you're talking about.
Yeah, there's just no way to know.
I was just kind of like ho-hum on the color job. I was like, all right, I mean, it'd be kind of fun to see it in black and white, like the way it was meant to be, but
yeah,
I mean, know. Who knows?
CBS basically re-airs this now every year.
And then they pair it with another episode that they like recently colorized, right?
Yeah, so they'll put it with like another episode, like one year it was Vitamita Vegemin, another year it was like one where Lucy's trying to get into the movies or something. I think maybe even like the episode where she's making wine or something was one they did.
Maybe. Is the last one they did last year for 2019 was Paris at Last. I don't know exactly, but
okay.
Hot scoop. The December 2014 airing of it. It was originally aired on a Sunday night, December 7th, 2014, but then they did an encore presentation on December 24th, 2014, 58 years to the day of the original broadcast. So, ooga.
Oh, wow.
Ooga. I'm surprised they didn't do it again for 2016, but I don't know. You want to get into the plot? You want to get into the thick of the plot?
Yes. Okay. It's Christmas Eve, and it's 1956.
Yeah.
Did we decide? 55, 56? Sorry, I'm having a blonde moment, okay?
December 24th, 1956, girl.
And, it's Ricky, Lucy, and little Ricky at home. It's Christmas Eve. And then getting, like, Christmas stuff put up in the apartment. Like, they have moved furniture out of the way so that a tree can be put up by Santa Claus. And they're hanging the stockings. And Lucy, oh my god. Lucy is very particular about how she wants the stocking. And Ricky's just like, here, that's good. And Lucy's like, but who cares? He's like, who cares if the mantle looks lopsided, And they're trying to put little Ricky's up, and Lucy wants it like dead center so that everything is like symmetrical and level and balanced. It is Christmas Eve, and they are just getting set up for Christmas. There's like a wreath on the window. There's maybe like a couple things out, like some candles or something. but they don't have a tree yet because apparently Santa Claus brings the tree and decorates and all that stuff. Like, dude, okay. How is Santa supposed to have time for all of that?
Here's the thing that I took. So I kind of looked into this. So in older Christmas traditions, trees were brought in and decorated on Christmas Eve and then removed after the 12th night of Christmas, which I guess is like January 5th or something like that.
January 6th.
I'm guessing that they normally hire the Mertzes, maybe, to bring the tree. Mm-hmm. So Lucy and Ricky and little Ricky, they're kind of like doing their normal pre-bed banter stuff. And well, actually, no, hold on. Actually, Ricky pulls up like a little tiny chair and he puts it right in front of the chimney.
Well, okay, this is after, hold on. There's this whole thing where they're putting up the stockings and Lucy is being very like precise about where she wants stuff. And she like wants little Ricky's stocking in the center so that the mantle doesn't look lopsided. And Ricky is just like, kind of like, fuck that. He just puts it like it's off center. And he's like, this is good enough. This is good enough. And all I could think of is Lucy would totally be one of those YouTube moms who does decorate with me's, clean with me's, and is very precise about where her decorations get hung and how they get hung and all that stuff.
There is definitely, I think a portion of this episode is just Lucy's mannerisms and her just wanted to have the perfect Christmas for not only for little Ricky but for herself. I feel that there's this like maybe it must go back to her childhood or something. Maybe like her childhood Christmases were like spectacular in her memory, but I bet you they're not as perfect. She just kind of remembers it that way. That's my hot theory. Yeah. Anyway, like they're in the middle of all this, and then they're like, "All right, it's time to go to bed, little Ricky." And he's like, "No." He like pulls up this little tiny chair. They just have this like cute little like dinner chair for him.
It's the most adorable little thing. It's like one of those little kid things that's just purely adorable.
Parks it right in front of the fireplace, and he's like just staring at it. And they're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, waiting for Santa."
Yeah.
Like they're like, "Santa won't come until you go to sleep," and he's just, "Well, how will he know I'm asleep?" And Lucy and Ricky, they're like fumbling to come up with an answer. And finally, like little Ricky says something. Is it the Sandman? Does the Sandman tell Santa? And Ricky's like, yeah, the Sandman. He when you fall asleep, he like shoots a signal up in the air. And then that's when Santa knows to come into the house. And Ricky's like, oh, a little Ricky's like, oh, okay. But then he like looks up the chimney and he's like, where are the stairs? Like, how is Santa going to get down here?
Yeah.
Ricky's like, oh, I told you the how, it's up for your mom to tell you the why. And like Lucy's like, Santa brings the North Pole with him, and then he puts it down the chimney and he slides down like a fireman. And like little Ricky's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. All right, bye guys, I'm off to bed. And he like just goes to sleep.
Yeah.
That's when they do like the hut signal for like couple of the year, Fred and Ethel, to come sneaking in, and they have like the tree with them.
Yes, like Fred and Ethel went and picked up a tree for the Ricardos. Like, do you think they even bothered to get their own tree? Because they spend all night up at the Ricardos' house.
I'm going to say no. It kind of seems like they, for the last 15 years, has established that the Mertzes spend all of their Christmases with the Ricardos.
Yeah.
And that's just the way I kind of see it still going on. I don't know. That's just the way I see it. And Fred even mentions that, he paid for the tree. And I did some hot research. So they paid $5 for the tree, which is equal to $47.85 in 2020 money, which is not too shabby considering that today the average 6-foot-tall live evergreen-style Christmas tree is about $78. That's what the price of one was last year.
Yeah, because you know what? I was actually researching like how much a real Christmas tree costs because my boyfriend wants to get one for this year. And I was like, dude, they're expensive. He's like, what? They're like, what, $20? I was like, no. I was like, maybe $20 to get a permit to cut one down.
Maybe you can get a tiny one for $20, but I think if you want like a 6 foot or taller, you're looking at like $78 or more.
I mean, yeah, like I can go spend $78 on a fake 6-7 foot tree, and then I'm going to have that tree again next year, and the year after that, and after that. And it, like, basically pays for itself.
Yeah, and then, or if you wait till after Christmas, you get them even cheaper than $78. You get them for, like, $40 probably.
Yeah, or if you get it on Black Friday. Trust me, I am definitely going to be checking out those Black Friday sales for a Christmas tree.
Yeah, so you can camp out, camp out, buy yourself a tree. Maybe bring a little book with you. Bring your Kindle with you. You can read Alone in the Night by yourself. You can read your own book.
Alone inside the night, not alone in the night. It's alone inside the night.
Inside the night. Okay, and Night, not Knight. This ain't a Sir Lancelot like adventure, right?
Definitely not.
No. Okay. Definitely not. You know what? That'll be the parody. That'll be my parody version of it.
Oh my god.
All right. So the Mertzes are there. They're starting to they're getting ready to decorate it, and then Lucy's like, oh, the right side looks a little weird. Maybe you can trim it off. They're telling Fred that he needs to go down to the basement and get his his little saw he uses to cut off the tree limbs. But he's like, oh no, hold on. He had a little fold up one in his pocket.
Yeah, he's carried this foot-long saw with him.
Oh, he knows. He's been through it. He's been through this dozens of times.
He's like, I've been spent the last 15 years decorating trees with this kid. I know what's up.
They're starting to fix the tree, and that's when Ricky's like, oh, this is so great. Christmas has always been great, but now, especially that little Ricky's a little bit older, he can enjoy it. He can enjoy it a little bit more, and they start to talk about the night that Ricky found out that Lucy was preggers, and it was a night at the Copacabana Tropagana room, whatever the fuck it was called. Can't remember the name of it.
Because she put in a request for him to sing Rockabye Baby, and he's going around to the tables because he's like, there's the couple expecting a baby, and he's going around and all the tables. None of these people know what's up. They're like, it's not us. Not us.
They get to a table, and it's an elderly couple, and they're both like, no. And he's like,
okay, hey, it could have been a grandkid.
But Ricky gets to Lucy sitting alone at a table in maternity dresses, to hide the pregnancy.
Yeah.
Conspiracy corner? Has Lucy been pregnant for months?
Okay.
I know the actress is probably deeply pregnant, but
I think she was pregnant in real life before they were you gotta write this in. We gotta do the delivery episode. Cause when you look at the actual episode where little Ricky is born, Lucy is not as big as Lucy actually ends up being. Cause they did that months in advance so that it could air the night that their son, Desi Arnaz Jr. was actually born.
I have a conspiracy that Lucy was pregnant for the character for 4 or 5 months, and she's like, oh shit, you know what, now I'm starting to show.
Yeah.
Now's the time to tell him. Or maybe she didn't know. Maybe she didn't know, too.
I mean, it's 1952, 53. I don't know what medicine was like back then. How long did you have to wait for the results?
Yeah. Lucy didn't have the period tracker app, so she couldn't keep track of them properly. Yeah. She didn't have the little day planner, and she put the little red dots on the days.
Exactly.
You know what? She was too busy, shopping or trying to, buy a fur coat or, trying to become a singer at the club.
She was too busy trying to scheme to get into Ricky's show.
Yeah. She wasn't paying attention to the months passing by and forgot about putting the red dot in the calendar. So they're all happy. They come back from the flashback. Like, oh, what a night. That was such a good night. And then they look over at the tree and Fred has been so wrapped up in the story that he cut all the fucking branches off.
Yeah. It's this weird spiral kind of thing as he was trying to even it out.
Yeah, and he just was not paying attention, so he cut the whole...
Not at all.
No.
But hey, they have a lot of greenery now for something else.
Yeah, but then Fred's like, oh, well, I guess I'll go down and buy a new tree. There's a few left on the corner. So he heads out, he goes down, he's gone, I think for the next flashback, maybe.
Because now they flash back to when Lucy actually had little Ricky and how...
You skipped over the barbershop quartet sing-along.
Oh. Oh, right, sorry. I thought that was later. Sorry. Lucy was singing and she's like, is it just me or has my voice just gone out or something? She's like, I just don't feel like I can sing like I used to. And Ethel and Ricky are looking at her like, bitch, what? You could never sing.
So they flash back to the night that it's Fred, Ethel, and Ricky. They're doing a barbershop quartet performance down at the club. And there was supposed to be some other guy in the performance. Lucy, I guess, kicked him out of the show. And then she put a fake mustache on, a man wig. And then she covered her face in the barbershop towels, when you're gonna get a face shave.
Yeah.
They're all singing around her, and then they pull off the towel, and then Lucy starts singing. They're like, "Oh fuck, it's Lucy."
They're like, "Crap! Stop her from singing! Stop her from singing!"
Yeah, and they're putting a little little shaving powder brush thing in in her mouth to stop her from singing. And it was a wild time. Wild times were had. That's when we come back again, and they're still in the living room, and for whatever reason they bring up the night that Ricky was born, little Ricky. And I'll let you tell this one because this is a good time.
Okay, so again, this is like another like sitcom classic that we get right here from Lucy. Okay, it's like Ricky and Fred and Ethel are all like, yeah, when you go into labor, it's gonna be chill. We got this under control. We're just gonna be like, this is how we're gonna do like a rehearsal of what we're gonna do, and it's all calm and collected. Ricky comes out and says, it's time.
Everyone has a job, like a function to do.
And then very stoically, he like does his stuff, and Ethel goes to the phone. She picks it up, pretends to dial. And she's like, yes, we're bringing Mrs. Ricardo in because it's time to have the baby, yada, yada, whatever. And she, like, hangs up. And they're all, like, very, like, cool, calm, collected.
Fred's supposed to call the cab. Ricky's supposed to grab the suitcase.
They do their dry run, like, perfectly. And then, they're, like, congratulating each other, like, we got this. We got this. Then Lucy comes out and she's like, guys, it's time. And all hell breaks loose.
Everyone's trying to do the same job.
Everything they just did, they forgot, and everybody's jumping over each other, trying to do each other's jobs, and it's wild and amazing and perfect.
It's a fun time in 1952 or something.
Yeah.
So then we come back for the last wraparound, and the tree's perfect now. I think Lucy says, well, actually, that one branch, they're like, no, like, leave it alone.
They're like, Lucy? Stop.
So they decide they're going to put on the lights, start decorating it. They plug in the lights. The lights stay lit for 3 seconds, maybe 3 seconds tops, and they blow out.
Yeah, like long enough for Ricky and Fred to be like, yes, we don't have to replace any. And then they go out.
It's tradition because it happens every year. It's a long-standing tradition. Mm-hmm. And then Lucy, she picks up a piece of mistletoe. She hangs it over her head, and Ricky gives her a smooch. And then, like, Ethel's, like, horny or something. Ethel, like, tries to say a thing with Fred, and Fred's like, no.
Wait, can we talk about Fred and Ethel for a second?
We have to, because you proposed the hot question to me, like, pre-podcast.
Why is Ethel with Fred?
I don't know.
I don't get it. Like, he treats her like crap. Like, I cannot picture a time when Fred was nice to Ethel. Like, I have a hot theory. So, because they've been married longer than Lucy and Ricky, right?
Like 30 years probably. They're like old as... Well, they're supposed to be old as fuck, but...
They're supposed to be older, but Vivian Vance is not that much older than Lucy. Like, she's the same age.
They're like born the same year or something, or like a year apart or something.
They're close enough. So, I have this hot theory that when Ethel was a young girl, she met Fred in their vaudeville days or whatever, because that's where they came from.
Back in the 20s. Back in like the 1920s. Maybe even before that. Who knows?
Whenever Ethel was like 15, 16 or something, okay? Because we have to take that time into consideration where this would have been like, okay. And so, say it's like Ethel's like a 16, 17-year-old girl. She doesn't have a lot of experience. Fred gives her attention. He gets what he wants from her one night. But, Ethel's dad finds out and forces them to get married because he, like, deflowered. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, I kind of get the same vibes. Or, you know what? It was a whirlwind of affair in the vaudeville days. And then, I don't know, it just kind of, like, tapered out. Things weren't so fun and exciting anymore.
And then they bought the building, and then the Ricardos moved in, and...
I'm trying to... I think there's more to the story. Like, I don't know, between Fred and Ethel. I think there's something else going on. Like, they never had a child that I know of anyway. I don't know if there's a lost episode.
Yeah, I mean, they could have an adult kid who moved out before Lucy and Ricky moved into the building. And then they never, like, hear from. Oh my god, what if they had a poor child that, like, got lost during World War II?
I don't know. I always thought, like, maybe Ethel is the beard and, like, Fred has a secret, like, romances with men out there. That's just, like, a little impression that I've always gotten.
I mean, it would explain his fondness for Ricky.
It would. You know what? Like, he's trying, like, all the time he's trying to lure in Ricky, but he just can't seal the deal. He's tried.
Yeah.
He's tried. I don't know. That's just a part of me that always felt that was true. Anyway, Fred, Ethel, Lucy, and Ricky, They all have a great time. They wrap up the night.
They get the tree decorated. They get like little Ricky's drum set. Like, and they do that thing. I feel like this is kind of a TV thing because my parents never did anything like this. But like the TV thing where like the big presents aren't wrapped in any way. They're just like there.
Yeah, they roll in the bike. They roll in the drum set. They're right there.
And the train set.
But
then there's like a bunch of stuff wrapped under the tree.
Lucy's trying to trick Ricky into finding out what her Christmas present's going to be, and like he won't tell her. We never find out. Like we never find out what it is. I wanted to know.
We never find out.
Low-key, I just like, I wonder what it was, and I thought like we get like a...
Maybe it was the house in Connecticut.
Yeah, we're about that time. That's like the next season, I think, right?
We're close to the Connecticut move.
Yeah, maybe it was. Like, maybe he had a little farmland. He was gonna take her out. He had a picture of the farmland, but they didn't reveal it in the episode.
He's like, this is the house I got us in Connecticut, and she's like, Connecticut what?
They didn't reveal it in the episode because they were saving it for like a later time. Ooh, I like your theory. I like your hot theory.
Yeah.
And we get this like, it's now, I guess it's the morning now. We get this like hot scene of little Ricky's like banging on the drums. He's playing the drums. They're all excited, and they're all dressed up like a Santa Claus. The whole gang.
Yeah.
They're wearing the fake beard and everything. And one of them was pretending to put out the train set, and they assumed it was Fred because Ethel's there dressed as Santa Claus. She came in like after Fred, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lucy and Ricky. And they all go into the kitchen, and then Fred actually comes into the door, and he's like, oh, wow, I guess you gotta get up real early to be Santa Claus in this house. And they all laugh.
And then Lucy starts counting, and she's like counting with her fingers. She's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she stares at her hand with all 5 fingers like out, and she's like, what? And they start pulling on the beards, and Lucy pulls on Ethel's, and it comes down. Ethel pulls on Lucy, and it comes down. Ricky pulls on Fred's, and it comes down. And then Then Fred pulls on Ricky's, and then Ricky and Lucy both tug on the 5th person, and he's like, ow, and it's Santa, and then he like just disappears.
Right in front of them. Literally right in front of them.
And they all kind of stare and then stare into the camera. It's great.
Have they ever done another Christmas episode of I Love Lucy?
There was another episode that aired early on where they, where it was close enough to Christmas that they added on a scene of like Lucy, Ricky, Ethel, and Fred dressed as Santa. Like, that's what this end scene was like a play on.
Yeah, because I was reading that they had tried to do this scene before, changed it up or at last minute or something, because they didn't think it would work because I don't think little Ricky was born yet.
Yeah.
What I read was that when little Ricky was born, they were like, oh, we can do the scene now. Like, we've been dying to do the scene for like 4 years.
Yeah, it'll make way more sense now.
So the real Santa disappears, which I feel like this is a trope that happens a lot in movies and sitcoms. I can't place anything else, but I feel like we've seen it like a dozen times.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it was kind of cute for the moment. It was like, oh, that was kind of nice. That was kind of nice, I guess.
Yeah, like it's one of those things you see like in some form come up again and again.
Inflation corner, some more inflatable things that I want to bring up.
Oh God.
A kid's drum kit. I looked it up. So if you wanted to buy like a kid's drum kit today, the average cost is about $100, which would have put this kit in 1956 money. It cost about $10. And a kid's bike is about like $50 or so. So it'd probably be somewhere between $5 and $10. So you're looking at like $20 tops for Little Ricky gifts this year, which kind of seems like a lot of money, right?
Wow, because I feel like I have probably spent more on my nephews. But like that's in today's money, like where $25 doesn't get you that much. It gets you like a monster truck.
Yeah, and the actor who played Little Ricky, he's now the only living cast member from I Love Lucy that's still alive. He was actually from a young age like a real drummer, like he was an avid drummer, and the reason why they picked him to play the role of Little Ricky was because he was just so good at drums. That was actually like part of his audition. I think he like came in, like his parents brought him onto the like audition stage, and they were like, all right, like he's cute, what does he do? And they were like, hold on, and they like wheeled out like a drum kit, and he like banged on the drums, and I guess like Desi Arnaz is like, oh, we have to have him, and they scooped him up. And the actor, he acted a few more times. He did appear in, I think it's Here's Lucy, or either the Lucy Show. In one scene, he's in like one episode.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be in a larger part, but I guess they had to edit the episode for time. So he's only like he has like a non-speaking role in it. And then in his later years, he became a musician. He was in a band. I can't remember the name of the band, but I guess they did all right. And he's still alive somewhere. I think he lives in like Louisiana or something now, or maybe even LA. I don't know, but he's still around. And he wrote a book about his experiences on the show. So I guess if you really want to get into it, you can track him down. I think the actor's name is Keith Thibodeau.
Yeah.
But he went by the name Keith Richards on the show. That was his stage name because they felt that people would have a hard time pronouncing his last name. So that's the little Ricky story. Him and his drums. All right.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 out of 5 yanked Santa bears, how many yanked Santa bears would you give this episode of I Love Lucy? Look, can I take a guess? What you're going to say? It's been a while since I've done a guess, I think. All right. I'm going to say you're going to give it a 3.5 for some reason. I don't know why.
That is exactly what I'm going to give it.
I'm going to go with a 3. I feel like there's better episodes of I Love Lucy that we could have picked. You were like itching to do a Christmas episode, so I gave it to you. I was like, all right, I'll allow it. And I don't know, kind of a boring episode. And even like the flashbacks aren't that good. Like they're kind of funny, but they're not great.
Okay, here's the thing. It gives us the flashback trope. So it starts that.
Yeah.
It is Christmassy, but it's not like overly Christmassy. Like if you think of a Christmas episode now, it would never be that.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, definitely not.
But it's early on. It was kind of like, oh, it's going to air on Christmas. But this was also Lucy and Desi's kind of gift to fans to see this earlier stuff that, they couldn't see when they didn't have a TV.
It's 2 musical numbers, and then it's like a fun, like the third one with like the doctor going to the doctor skit. That was like the best one. That was great. That was like classic hijinks. The other 2 were just like songs, and I don't know. I was like, like maybe one song.
I did think it was a little like it's a little weird, like that all the flashbacks were season 3 or season 2 stuff from when with little Ricky being born. There wasn't anything prior. There wasn't anything after. I thought that was a little odd.
Well, I think they specifically wanted to highlight those years because that's what people wanted to see. They like remembered fondly of those episodes. It would have been fun though to get like maybe like 1 or 2 more flashbacks, but just have them be shorter. Maybe like one that's not a musical number, so you can actually get to see like the comedy aspect of it instead of just a song and dance, like highlighting that. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah.
Like maybe even like show like the actual. I mean, I know they don't show the actual birth on the show, but like the postpartum adventures of Lucy.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my take. So I'm gonna give it a 3 for that reason. And I mean, I guess Christmas episodes, even back in the day, were just very simple. They're
yeah.
As you said, it was just like a thank you to the fans. So
yeah,
I guess that's what we get. That's what we get. It's not like a fun modern day Christmas episode of like a Christmas lights decorating contest between the Taylors and the Doc Johnsons.
Yeah, it's not try to find that one special toy or this old loved one, or it's not a takeoff on A Wonderful Life or Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
It's just
that might have been ambitious at the time.
It's just very normal American family.
Another thing I was thinking is it's Christmas Eve and they probably didn't want to put like a good episode of I Love Lucy out because maybe not that many people will watch it. So they just want to put out something simple. That way, if someone's out with the fam that night or they're at church or something and they can't watch Lucy, at least like the only thing they're missing is like episode they may have seen before.
Yeah.
At the very least. Like clips of an episode they may have seen before. Mm-hmm. And nothing exciting. I can see why it's not included in the syndicated package run. You're not missing anything. I mean, but I guess it's a nice thing for CBS to air every year, just to kind of keep the aura of Lucy alive and well.
Let's see if CBS airs it in 2020.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure it's going to be...
Listen, after what happened with the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown and the Peanuts specials, I don't feel like anything's a guarantee anymore.
I mean, I feel like that had something to do with like the people who owned the Charlie Brown characters now. It's been scooped up by Apple because they're doing exclusive content for Apple. I don't think CBS would give up the Lucy empire.
Yeah, that's true. CBS isn't giving up Lucy. I just think it's funny is this isn't even still part of the syndication package. Like, you can't find it in Hulu, you can't find it on CBS All Access or whatever.
No.
We found it. I found it on archive.org of all places.
And it's like really hard to watch. It's like difficult to like get it to play and stuff. And
really, I had no trouble.
Well, I had lost the link because you had sent it to me. Then I had lost it, and then I had to find it again. And it took me like 15 minutes to find because like other Christmas specials came up, and then like a bunch of like I Love Lucy podcasts came up. So I had to like kind of like shuffle through like a bunch of stuff before I finally found it.
Dude.
But I found it. And then I lost it again. Then I was like, shit.
All I know is I created an accidental monster by giving you archive.org for this.
You did, because while I was looking for this episode, I just stumbled upon some of the craziest stuff that I've been dying to see for many, many years, and things that will probably... that we've talked about doing, but we can't find, like Welcome Freshmen. So who knows? Who knows what's coming down the pipeline after Jason Bateman month and Canceled Too Quickly month.
Oh my god.
Whatever doldrums we dip into. All right. Any last minute thoughts on I Love Lucy Christmas special? Anything I left out?
It's comforting.
It's comfort. It's like popcorn. It's like a popcorn night. It's a night of popcorn.
It's popcorn on the tree.
Who does that, by the way?
Classic and simple.
They do that on like cartoons and TV and stuff, and I'm like, who the fuck does that? You're gonna have ants everywhere, or the dog's gonna eat it.
I think we tried it once. I don't think we like got very far because nobody wanted to actually string it on.
I don't know. If anyone out there has done it, let us know. Send us a message and tell us how it went. If you have pictures of it, even better. If you have a video, even greater. You know what? If you want to make a video, Heather, if you're looking forward to do some wacky Christmas project, how about some popcorn on a string and dangle it around your tree? And
don't say her dad thinks we're cult leaders, man.
Oh yeah, we'll save that for another episode. That's another story. All right. I'm excited for next week. We're going to keep the Christmas train rolling. We're going to keep the train that little Ricky got from Santa rolling.
You've already sort of mentioned it in this episode.
I did, because next week we're going to go back to Detroit. We're going to Detroit Rock City. We're going to hang with our boys, the Taylor Clan, and Brad, and JTT. Randy, that's his name, and Little Goth Mark, and Jill. Will Jill be a fun mom in this episode? Will she be an unfun mom? Who knows?
I think it depends on how badly Tim has tried to set the house on fire with his Christmas light.
That is true. So we're going to do a classic Christmas episode of Home Improvement next week. It's going to be a fun time. Watch it, enjoy it. And where can you follow our wild-ass adventures, Kat Halstead, the author? Where can you follow our adventures?
You can follow us on Twitter at Very Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr at A Very Special Podcast. Do not accept invitations. We are on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, Apple, all your podcast listening apps. We've got a Patreon, so click to support us. We got stuff coming.
Yeah.
There's stuff coming. Trinkets, God willing, have been delivered by now.
Hopefully. We've been talking about this stupid trinkets for like months now.
Listen, your girl gets busy, okay? It has been an election year.
It is. Well, it's over now. It's all over now. And we still don't know who's president. We still don't know. All right, as always, girl, as always,
bye!
Watch the skies for the Sandman delivering his cue to have Santa come into the Ricardo house. That works, right? Sure.